Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so happy that you're part of our Reading with Your Kids family. Please be sure to connect with us on Facebook, facebook.com/Reading with Your Kids. It's at Jedley Magic on Twitter and at Reading with Your Kids on Instagram. Today, it's another STEM Tuesday edition with our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, Jennifer Swanson. You know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM to understand that you and your family are going to have a fantastic time if you join us at Kids Expo Chicago, February 8th and 9th, Schaumburg Convention Center, Schaumburg, Illinois. That's right. The Reading with Your Kids podcast will be live in Chicago, February 8th and 9th. We're creating a beautiful, totally interactive booth where you and your family can find out what it's like to be part of the Reading with Your Kids podcast and possibly be a guest on a future edition of the show. We are also going to be presenting Jedley's Totally Interactive Magic Circus. Maybe you and your kids will be part of one of my amazing illusions or magic tricks. Find out. Come on out. Join us February 8th and 9th, Schaumburg Convention Center, Kids Expo Chicago. Join us right now from Jacksonville in Florida. She is our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, even when she's on the sideline with a slight injury. Please welcome back to the show, Jennifer Swanson. Jennifer, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Jed.
We're really excited. Jennifer talk about a trooper. She had a little injury, but she still made it to all her conferences and live appearances. So my hat's off to you. Talk about having a lot of grit and resiliency.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you break your foot stepping off a curb. But no, I couldn't have done it without my husband. He was amazing and pushed me around in the wheelchair. But it's been a very fast, 8 weeks, and hopefully I get the cast off soon.
Yes. I mentioned that Jennifer has a lot of grit and resiliency, and then she goes and lets you know she doesn't have a lot of balance and athletic ability, I guess, falling off a curb.
It was just a little misstep.
Well, speaking of little, that's what we're talking about today. Today's STEM Tuesday episode of the show is talking about tiny worlds. Tell us all about that.
That was a great segue, by the way.
Thank you very much.
So this is STEM Tuesday from July 2019. So, we're a little behind, but that's okay because to keep up with STEM Tuesday, all you have to do is log into the site and see what we have going on every month. This one is about microscopic world. The world that is all around you, but you may not be able to see it without the help of a microscope. And we also threw nanotechnology in there, which is the science of the very, very, very tiny. But we should all like nanotechnology because those things that we are pretty much attached to these days, by that I mean your cell phones, those were all made with nanotechnology. So this is a pretty cool month. For the book list, we have Tiny Creatures, The World of Microbes by Nicola Davies. So this talks about how in the sea, in the soil, in the air, and in your body, there are living things so tiny that millions could fit onto an ant's antenna.
Wow.
Think about that for a minute.
It just blows. It really is mind-boggling to think that they're not only things, they're like living things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that goes into the next one, which is called It's Catching, the Infectious World of Germs and Microbes by Jennifer Gardy. So these are all those little living things that you don't want to catch.
Yeah. I ran into some of them on the way home from Rochester not too long ago.
Yeah, that's not fun. No. We have Hidden Worlds, looking through a scientist's microscope. That's part of the Scientist in the Field series by Houghton Mifflin, and this book was by Stephen Kramer. So this is like, what if you took a microscope and looked through it? What would you see? This would be really cool for, the curious kids who kind of want to know what everything is around them. Now, don't get freaked out about everything living around you. It's there regardless of whether you know it's there or not, and for, 99.9% of it, it doesn't bother you. Mm-hmm. So, and then in the nanotechnology, we have nanotechnology, cutting edge science and technology by Janet Slingerland. And then my book, Super Gear, nanotechnology and sports team up. I wrote that for Charlesbridge Publishing, and it's a really cool book because it's a mix of sports. So if you're into sports like swimming, playing tennis, golf clubs, running shoes, all of that is made with nanotechnology. This is a great book if you're looking for a book about the Olympics to figure, to learn all about the technology that they're using in the Olympics. It was a lot of fun to write, and you don't even think about like the swimsuits that they wear. That is actually made with nanotechnology.
Well, this is, I definitely want to get more about nanotechnology and especially how it's used in sports, because that is something that I'm passionate about and fascinated by. And we know that nanotechnology is this new thing, but the reality is our understanding that there are these microscopic things, it's looking at the entirety of human history, it's a fairly recent discovery, am I right?
Yeah, within the last couple hundred years, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even less than that. But, really since we discovered microscopes, which at the top of my head, I don't know when that was. But really, I think scientists thought there was something there, but until they actually could see it with their eyes when they developed microscopes or the ability to see really, really small things, they didn't know it was there.
I'm fascinated because it's like, we think there's some things there, but now we can see them. But to take the leap from now we can see them to understand what it is we're looking at, because I've seen pictures, I've looked through a microscope, and it's like, there's things that looks like it's swimming around, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, well, that's why you have microbiologists and different scientists and engineers who work at that level, which is pretty cool. And now we don't just have, plain microscopes. We have, SEM microscopes, which is, electron microscopes. We have all these ones that can see it at very, very small levels, which is how we can do nanotechnology is basically the science of manipulating things at the small microscopic level. So not only do we just see them, now we can manipulate them, which is also pretty stinking cool.
Incredible. Now, you mentioned using nanotechnology to make swimsuits. What? Mm-hmm. How does that happen?
Okay, so for any of you that remember the 2008 Olympics when Michael Phelps and everybody wore those full body swimsuits, and they broke, I don't know, like 125 Olympic records. So those suits were made with nanotechnology, and what happened is they figured out how to, on the very small level, they did a couple of things. One, they squeezed their bodies into these streamlined kind of things. If you think about it, if you think about a shark, like a shark has a very sleek body and the water kind of flows over it and all this kind of stuff. And so if human beings are more round, right, than a shark, I'm not, our bodies are built differently. Yep. We have these arms that come off and all this kind of stuff. So if you can make your body kind of push all the lumps and bumps and make it streamlined, that's one of the ways they cut through the water faster. And the material that they made was stretchy and stuff like that, and they used nanotechnology to help create that. But now, like, they use them in golf balls and golf clubs and running shoes. And even running tracks, some of them are made with nanotech. It's a pretty cool, interesting thing that they do.
So it wasn't that the scientists made these like little nano machines that were swimming along inside the suits?
No.
Okay.
These are nanomaterials. So they actually made materials out of this. But nanotechnology is in everything. Of course, it's in your phones. They use it to make, the implants. Nanotechnology is used for the implantable medical devices that they use to help people and stuff like that in different ways. There's lots of different things that you can do with nanotechnology, and we're only just getting into the very tip of it.
That's incredible. Now, one of the things that, I love science fiction and I guess it was when I was growing up, was it 20,000? No, Fantastic Voyage or something like that, where they, shrunk a submarine down to nano size and sent it into the bloodstream of somebody to fix
Inner
something.
Space. That was that movie.
Okay. Now, how far away are we? Now, obviously, we're not going to be shrinking people down,
Well, we can't shrink human beings, but yeah. I mean, they have implantable things that they can put into people. And they're experimenting with it. I don't know that it's out on the market yet, but they have all these different things that can, they have, the defibrillators, I think, that they implant can talk to a computer and let the doctor know what's going on and all this kind of stuff. I mean, don't quote me on all this stuff. Look it up, but it's just a really intriguing, interesting part of science that is kind of wide open. So if you have a kid, who's really interested in learning about the tiny little things that live around them and whatever, nanotechnology or microbiology might be a great place for them to look. For a career.
One of the things that I'm fascinated with is, we're getting to the point sometimes I think we, as human beings, we get a little cocky and they say, we know everything there is to know. But then, we make these other discoveries and we think, whoa, we're talking about astronaut Aquanaut and it's like, yes, we're conquering space and we can get a man on the moon. But meanwhile, there's like this big, huge ocean, and we only know a little bit about it, and
yes.
We know all about the world around us, except all these creatures that are living within us, and it's just fascinating and really, really exciting, I think.
I think it is too, and I don't know that you would have any scientists say that we know everything there is to know about even a certain area or an area that they work in, but because I think there's always more that we can do. And not only that, but human beings are very innovative. Mm-hmm. So maybe you figured out, what nanotechnology science is, but there's always a new way to use that science. And a new thing to create. And, you think about they come out with every year or so, don't they come out with a new version of your cell phone that's stronger, better pictures, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Think about all the technology that goes into creating new, better, different ones. This is kind of what they're doing with all of this stuff too.
Yeah, incredible. What an exciting time to be a kid and have all these opportunities open to you.
I know. I would have studied this in college in a heartbeat if they would have had that in a heartbeat. It was really cool. Okay, so the second week of STEM Tuesday in July is where we have our In the Classroom. And this one for July has a yeast and sugar balloon experiment. So this is those kids, those of you out there like me, raise your hands, who love experimenting with science. This tells you exactly how to inflate a balloon as the yeast is eating the sugar. So it's a really cool kind of experiment to actually see like microbes in action, so to speak.
Wow.
So check that. I know, right? This is right up my alley. Check it out.
That is so cool.
And then let's see. Week 3 is writing tips and resources. And this one was done by your favorite, Heather L. Montgomery.
Yes.
And so she actually, so say you don't have a microscope at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has pictures that she took through a microscope, and the kids are supposed to guess what it looks like.
Ooh,
I'm not going to give away the answers, but it's really cool. So go to July, and remember, this is searchable. So if you go to STEM Tuesday, it's searchable by topic. So look up the tiny worlds and then go to July 23rd, 2019, and you'll see these really cool images taken through a microscope, and you have to guess. She gives you some hints, okay? It's not just like, oh my gosh, this is what I see. But it's really cool if you're a kid to take a look at this.
Yeah, and that sounds like it could be a lot of fun for a family, just kind of what's this? And, it'd be fun if you get the right answer. But I also think it could be a lot of fun with folks kind of offering their theories as to what it could be.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I have to do a side note. So for me, this STEM Tuesday is really kind of hits close to home. So I know we've talked about this before, but my love of science started very young. I started a science club in my garage when I was 7. And I've loved science my whole life. But the coolest thing was when I was little is my mom bought me my own microscope.
Mm.
And so I don't remember if I was 7 or 8, whatever, but she bought me a microscope, which I still have, by the way. But I used to do this as a kid. We used to go out and get, leaves, and we'd get bits of grass and flowers, and we'd dig up dirt. And then when we moved to our house that had the creek in the back, we would look at all of the nasty creek water and everything through it, find all the paramecium and all that kind of stuff. So if you have the ability to get that for your kid, it could last them a lifetime. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I love science so much.
That's incredible. And, that's a great example. We talk about, hoping to inspire our kids to get involved in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. What a wonderful thing your mom did for you, that microscope, it didn't start you, but it really kind of helped propel you down the path that you took for life.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the last one is, of course, remember the 4th week in every month, whatever month it is, we do a giveaway. And the book that we gave away in July was, The Tiny Creatures, The World of Microbes by Nicola Davies. And so there's always an interview with the author so you can learn a little bit about why, the author might have written this. She said, I love what she said. She said there are so many things in children's lives that are related to microbes, from always being told to cover your mouth when you sneeze, wash your hands before dinner. She said microbes are everywhere and they're an incredibly important part of our lives. So it made sense that even the smallest children should know about them. Mm-hmm. Why not? Mm-hmm. And don't do it in a scary way. We're not telling kids about microbes to make them afraid and wash their hands 15 times a day, but just make them aware of, what is part of their world. As I like to say, the science all around you. Mm-hmm. It's there everywhere you look.
Yeah.
But hers it's a really great book. I really love this book. And if you're looking for a book to have kids kind of just get an entry into what the tiny creatures are there around, take a look at this book. It's good.
And I love the idea of introducing kids of all ages, but especially, the world is there. And yes. The idea that we have to shelter kids, obviously there's some stuff you don't want a 4-year-old to, try to get into discussions about certain things with 4-year-olds. But, on a basic level, just introducing them to things, and it takes away a lot of the fear. There are a lot of people out there that are absolutely paralyzed by a fear of germs and microbes, and it's so sad.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, with science, a lot of people think science is hard to understand and it's scary. Well, just start with little bits and, and I don't necessarily mean microscopic ones. I'm just saying just start with a little bit and learn about it because it's all around you everywhere you are. It shouldn't be scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's our world, and we're part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's a really, that was a really fun month to do, I think. And it's really interesting, like we said, just so they can expose kids to all these different kinds of things that are everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And, one of the things I just love this idea. It just occurred to me. Kids always, one of the things that's frustrating for a lot of kids is that everything is so big. And that everybody is bigger than them, and they feel powerless sometimes. Well, if we can introduce them to a world where they're the giant in, and help them start getting an understanding of that might give them a little feeling of empowerment.
There you go. Yeah, that's another great way to look at it. I never thought of that.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the STEM Tuesday book giveaways. We're talking about the July 2019 edition of STEM Tuesday. But if you go to this month's edition of STEM Tuesday, whenever you're listening to this, just go to that last week and make a comment, and you'll be entered into winning a free book.
Yes, exactly. And we usually only have maybe 8 to 10 entries. So your odds of winning are way better than the lottery or whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of lottery, you started something, that wasn't, it wasn't involved with any luck or gambling, but you started something that I think was a real blessing and a winning to the folks in Jacksonville not too long ago, your literacy campaign. We're probably coming up to a year since that started happening.
It was a year ago that we started this. It's called Kid Literacy Inc. And we just finished our first year. We brought 6 authors to 6 Title I schools here in Jacksonville. So these schools that not all of them, but maybe 4 out of the 6 had never had authors visit their schools. And then we were able to give $500 worth of that author's books free to the school. So we've done all that. We've now officially filed for our 501c3, which hopefully we'll get back in the next month. So we're ready and raring to go for 2020. We have a lot of things planned, and we're going to just keep moving forward. We're so excited about this.
That's fantastic. And if anybody out there, if you don't know how hard it is to get that tax-exempt status for a group, it is really, really hard. So,
I am not a business person, meaning I didn't want to, I don't have an MBA and all this kind of stuff, and knee deep in it,
Yeah.
But we're so thrilled and we're so excited to be able to do this for our community. And, hopefully once we get it set up here in Jacksonville, then we can expand it, maybe more to the state of Florida or beyond. I've had teachers ask us from, cities all over the country. So if you're interested in finding out more information, you can go to our website. It's kidliteracy.org.
And tell everybody where they can find out more about Jen Swanson's books.
For me, you can go to my website, jenniferswansonbooks.com.
And the last book, the most recent release, was Save the Crash Test Dummies, and that is doing fantastic, I understand.
Yeah, it just won National Science Teacher Association, Children's Books Council, Best STEM Book of the Year. I was thrilled to have it on that very prestigious list. And it's doing really well. I'm excited because, kids love to learn about cars. I mean, I had Hot Wheels as a kid, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Well, we're really excited to have you as part of our Reading with Your Kids family. Thanks once again, Jennifer Swanson, our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Jed.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Melissa Harker-Riddino. We hope you will join us. We look forward to welcoming Melissa to the show. Hey, if you are the author of a fantastic children's book, you were probably really excited when you got that first author's copy of the book. It came in the mail. You were really, really excited about it. And you're like, yes, it's here. I am a published author. And then you found out you are also the marketing director for your book. Yeah, I mean, in essence, you became the CEO of yourbook.com or Your Book Incorporated. The reality is, if you are the author of a book, you are in charge of marketing that book, letting everybody know about that book. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're published by a traditional publishing house or if you're independently published. Unless you reach the level of, J.K. Rowling, you have to get out there and promote your book. Well, we have a fantastic way to help you promote your book. It's called the Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read Program. We've assembled a fantastic panel of evaluators. They're teachers, their parents, their kids. And if they believe that your book is worthy of 4 or 5 out of 5 stars, it becomes a certified great read. And with that status comes a whole lot of promotional tools that will help families know that your book is worthy of their consideration. It really helps your book stand out amongst the crowd of thousands of books that are published every single year. Our buddy, Jennifer Swanson, she is a Reading with Your Kids certified great read author. Check it out today. Go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Author Services button at the top of the page to find out more. We want to thank the folks who made today's show so very wonderful. Of course, we want to thank our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, Jennifer Swanson. I want to thank my producer, Fatima Khan, for all she does for the show. Be sure to check out her blog at readingwithyourkids.com. I want to thank Augie the doggy for having my back here in the studio. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. And most of all, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Thank you so much for letting folks know about the show. We've really grown by word of mouth. We really appreciate that. Another way you can spread that word of mouth is by subscribing to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts, and of course, leaving a 5-star review. You can also with many of those platforms, you can leave a review for different episodes, and that really helps get attention on the podcast. Spread this word that is so important to you. That we need to read with our kids, because reading with our kids, it builds that bond, it helps them become better readers, it helps them develop a better sense of empathy, and it helps make the world a better place. And I want to thank you for doing that. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.